guys, what is going on? Welcome back to part 2 of a very special Sorare series. This one, I've asked Sorare managers that support Premier League clubs their situation for their goalkeeper for the upcoming season. Now, if you've missed part 1, I've gone through undervalued players and also breakout players in the Premier League for next season. Most Sorare managers will know goalkeepers can be one of the most stressful positions to buy when it comes to Sorare, making sure that goalkeeper will be #1 next season, as they can be one of the most expensive players on a team. The idea of this video is to ask Premier League fans their opinions on their current goalkeeper situation for the upcoming season, so you can feel at ease when you come to purchase your Premier League goalkeeper. Much like the last video, I've got 18 Premier League teams. Unfortunately, Leicester and Ipswich, we have no data on this one. Again, if you do support Leicester, Ipswich, or any team around the world and you want to get involved, list your club below in the comment section below and your goalkeeping situation as well. You could help a Sorare manager out in the comment section below. But without further ado, guys, let's jump in to the goalkeepers. Starting off with Arsenal, what I'll do on this video as well, guys, is break down in terms of percentages. Sam says here that Raya completed his permanent transfer from Brentford a couple of days ago after a season-long loan, and he will be #1 100% next season for Arsenal. So our first goalkeeper, our first one 100% at £45 for a top goalkeeper at a top club in David Raya. If you're looking a safe starter, he is definitely up there. Add him to your watch list, get him saved. Moving on to Aston Villa, another 100% starter. Josh over on Twitter says Martinez is 100% as long as he's fit for Aston Villa. His limited card around about £60 there or thereabouts at the moment in time. 31 years old, and you've also got international utility as well for Argentina. The next team is Bournemouth. Now this one's a little bit tricky. So Footy Die says, extremely tough one. Neto was dropped at the end of last season for Bournemouth. So Neto right here, 34 years old. Mark Travers come in and did a good job. So for now, Travers is his favourite for the goalkeeping spot. However, Bournemouth have also signed Alex Poulsen. No cards on Sorare at the moment in time. 21 years old. So he's gone 50% for Mark Travers, 25% for Neto, and 25% as well for the brand new signing and Poulsen at the same time. So a little bit more tricky there with Bournemouth. So Travis 50%. In my opinion, I will stay well away from that goalkeeping situation at the moment in time. My little feeling is that Aaron Ramsdale might sign for Bournemouth, but that's just my opinion or my little feeling towards that. Yeah, Bournemouth goalkeeper not quite clear just yet. 50% Mark Travers, 25% for the other two goalkeepers. Up next, we have Brentford. The football guru has mentioned that the goalkeeper situation is slightly complex with Brentford at the moment in time, with some really decent goalkeepers in the locker. However, now David Raya has signed for Arsenal. Flecking is between 70 and 80% chance of starting next season. He did play most of the games for Brentford last season, of course, except one against Man United, I think it was, down here. He's really good, really steady. Doesn't have too many games where he lets a lot in. He'll take a big injury or a bad run of form for him to lose his position. I watched a lot of Brentford last season. What I saw from Fleck, and he played really well against the big teams like Man City, for example. There's a couple of decisions in there where he might have let goals in and expect him to save. But more as a safe starter next season at 80%. Limited price at the moment in time, around £18. 31 years old, and that's Mark Flecking at Brentford. The Brighton goalkeeper situation was a nightmare for Sorare managers last season, with a lot of rotation from Verbruggen and Jason Steele in the Cup games, the European games, and also, of course, the Premier League games as well. Now, Mortz has said here that Verbruggen is 90% nailed to be #1, with Steele to leaving Rushworth, Carl Rushworth, who was on loan at Swansea last season, to be #2 and get some Cup games. Would be great. If Steele stays, he could be cup keeper, I reckon, but that's it. So he thinks Verbruggen 90% #1 and Jason Steele potentially leaving, or Carl Rushworth becoming #2 at Brighton at the same time as well. I've heard a lot about this Rushworth from Swansea last season, potential to be starting goalkeeper in the future for England as well. Played almost every single game last season for Swansea, and a really good young up-and-coming goalkeeper from the Championship on loan from Brighton last season. So if you do hold Bart Verbruggen, you're 90% guarantees, and hopefully no rotation for next season. The goalkeeper situation for the next two teams is still pretty much in the air. Starting with Chelsea, and Daniel Toff Music has mentioned here that has been reported that Sanchez will be #1 goalkeeper at Chelsea next season. However, he doesn't trust that. He thinks a new manager been in the building less than a week, and people apparently know he's going to be #1. So he doesn't buy into that. He says he'll be careful. At the moment in time, he's saying 45% chance of Sanchez starting, 30% chance of Petrovic starting, 20% chance of getting a new goalkeeper, and then 5% chance of Kepa starting. He says Kepa is on paper a better ball-playing goalkeeper than both Sanchez and Petrovic, but Chelsea is looking to offload he's on crazy wages apparently at Chelsea. So very much in the air Chelsea at the moment in time. So at the moment, 45% for Sanchez and just closely in behind by Petrovic. I wouldn't be surprised if we do sign a new goalkeeper, but the reports are the new manager is happy with Sanchez and Petrovic. On to the next team, and that's Crystal Palace. Again, very much in the air in terms of their goalkeepers at CPFC_GH on Twitter. So the goalkeeper situation at the moment is in the air, 50-50 between Sam Johnston and Dean Henderson. He reckons Sam is the better choice, but rumoured to have a few clubs interested in him at the moment, and cemented up a spot until his injury. So Sam Johnston was #1 until his injury not so long ago. So Dean was signed on a long-term deal with a view becoming #1 one day. Need to see what the preseason is like and what happens in the market. So one word for that is avoid. Avoid the Crystal Palace goalkeeper situation at the moment. Maybe buying both. Maybe one gets a move. But if you want to kind of lock in the #1 for Crystal Palace at the moment in time, we wait until a transfer or two happens for the goalkeeper situation. So 50-50 between Dean Henderson and Sam Johnston, both English goalkeepers for Crystal Palace next season. Some good news, we have a couple of 100% coming up, starting with Everton and Jordan Pickford. Callum said Jordan Pickford is 100% starting goalkeeper for Everton next season. No surprise. His limited card, about £60 at the moment in time. Obviously, utility for England at the moment as well, as we move in the future. Still only 30 years old. It feels like he's been around for ages. Yeah, Jordan Pickford, 100% certain to be #1 next season at Everton. Talking of 100%, Jenkins99 Alex on Twitter reckons Leno will be 100% starting next season with Fulham. Going to lose a couple of goalkeepers as well. I think Rodnak is leaving the club. They could see him, he could see the club signing another goalkeeper, but only for the sub position as a backup to Leno. So 200% guaranteed goalkeepers there in Jordan Pickford and Leno, as you can see, a lot better value in terms of price in £16. And it's not a bad score when it comes to Sorare. Obviously, Pickford last season was amazing. But yeah, 2 goalkeepers there, 100% certain next season for both Everton and Fulham. The next 2 goalkeepers are arguably the best 2 keepers in the league, in my opinion. Both Brazilian, but both with heavy links to Saudi Arabia over the past few months and days. Starting with Liverpool and Alisson, both Mark and Salah's UK have said the Saudi interest for Alisson has kind of quietened down. So hopefully he'll be starting for Liverpool next season. Obviously, no guarantees. They said 95% just because that small chance of the Saudi links, but they're pretty certain that he will be #1 next season. The backup goalkeeper, Kalia, is moving on as well, according to rumours. So they're definitely pretty much, Alisson will be starting #1. They might buy a backup goalkeeper to replace the backup, of course, as well. Now, same can't be said about Ederson Man City. It's quite strange, actually. I was speaking to Sorare Connor over on Twitter the other night, asking for his opinion on the goalkeeper situation at Man City, and he believed Everton would stay. And literally a couple of hours later, the news broke that Saudi Arabia have agreed a deal with Ederson, and as you can see on the price graph here, his price has plummeted in the last few days of that news. So he had Ederson down at 75%, and I'll take it 25%. again, at this moment in time, as I'm recording this video, I would stay well away from Edison. I just want to take a bit of a punt, and you know Edison yourself, and you're happy to pay a sort of price and take the risk. That's absolutely fine. But there has been rumours, and what Connor mentioned here as well, is that Ortega potentially will be #1 next season. So if Edison did leave Man City wouldn't buy a new goalkeeper. Stefan Ortega will be #1. Again, that's not 100% certain. As you can see by the price here, the rumours may be true, and he will be #1 next season. So maybe a bit of a punt there on Edison or Ortega. But if I was in your shoes, just starting Sorare now, we're not quite sure. You had a small amount of budget to use. I would stay well away from the Man City goalkeeper situation. Another safe starter in Onana at Manchester United. Both Sorare Capital and Sorare Alice both agree with this. Pretty much a safe starter under Ten Hag at Manchester United after signing for him a couple of seasons ago. Limited value at the moment in time, about £37, give or take. Fits in with the play, their philosophy under Ten Hag. Obviously, Ten Hag has signed a new contract at Man United as well, will mean Onana will stay there at the same time and be the starting goalkeeper at Man United. Not a great season for United last season in terms of clean sheets. The season before that, especially at home, they were absolutely amazing. So Onana, pretty much 95, 100% guarantees at starting for Manchester United next season. Now, Newcastle, C_Hatton90. I said their goal situation at the moment in time is a bit up in the air. There's a lot of rumours incoming, especially Trafford as well from Burnley. But at the moment in time, after signing Odyssey for Nottingham Forest, the current situation is Nick Pope 90% and Odyssey's at 10%. They've also signed John Ruddy as well, but he's kind of a third choice goalkeeper for Newcastle. But again, still a little bit up in the air due to some transfer links. But if they do kick off the season like they are now, Nick Pope is 90% chance of starting, with Odyssey, so they signed from Nottingham Forest, at 10% for Newcastle. The situation at Nottingham Forest is a tricky one at the moment in time, according to both Jay Shaw and Try Harding FPL. And they are in talks to sign a new goalkeeper as well, the 6', 8" tall Carlos Miguel from Brazil. And they both said Matt Sal's had a really good season last season, especially towards the end. But he's already come up to his 30s now, and he's not a long-term solution. From what Jay Shaw have seen from Carlos Miguel, the potential new signing, he does look quality. And Trials in FPL says here, it's signed for just £4 million. That's a £50 million release clause. So a really good deal there if they manage to get over the line. So at the moment in time, bit of a 50-50. I think what I'm gathering here, that Matt Sal's might start the season as #1. But with potential of competition, some heavy competition from Miguel. But again, pre-season will kind of determine that. Again, if you're brand new to starting Sorare or want a Premier League goalkeeper, I would stay well away from getting Matt Sal. Obviously, he's only goalkeeper at the moment in time at Nottingham Forest with those cards. Miguel with no cards at the moment in time. But in my opinion, stay away from Matt Sal's. I actually do own a Super Rare as well, and I'm telling you, stay away. Or take a bit of a punt at £7. If he does start, you're laughing. That is up to you guys. So 50-50 between Matt Sal's and Carlos Miguel, the potential new signing, the 6', 8" tall goalkeeper joining Nottingham Forest this summer transfer window. 34-year-old Alex McCarthy is set to be #1 for Southampton next season. Football Banger says Gavin Bazuna was #1 before a bad injury towards the end of last season. So Gavin Bazuna, obviously, we all know him from under-23 goalkeeper. Had a bad injury towards the end of last season, as you can see on here. But McCarthy came in, the 34-year-old, did really well. A big part of the reason why Southampton went up, according to Football Banger. And he just signed a 2-year deal. So at the moment in time, he thinks McCarthy will be the starter for Southampton next season, unless they sign a new goalkeeper. So I would say about 85% chance of McCarthy starting. Again, not guaranteed because of a new signing. I think when Bazuna is back in net, it's a bit more of like a long-term solution for Southampton. So for the short term, McCarthy looks settled and in place. I actually watched the playoff final. It was Mentz against Leeds as well for Southampton. But just be wary of the transfer window, of course, as well. Tottenham is pretty much a straight story. The Parrot Press has literally said, Vicario 100%, no competition at all. So at £38 thereabout for limited card, 27 years old, which is amazing for a goalkeeper. A lot of utility left at Tottenham. Only downside to him, not many clean sheets from what I remember last season for Tottenham. I might be wrong with that one, guys, but just something they always concede, especially at home in a few games. Like Luton, for example, here, they lost 2-1. Yeah, Vicario, 27 years old, 100% starter, according to the Parrot Press. No competition there at all. Moving on to West Ham. West Ham Gym 7 says Areola at 95% and Fabianski at 5% a cup goalkeeper. So pretty much locked in for Areola at 95%, 31 years old, about £14, one of the cheaper goalkeepers on this video. And Fabianski is 39 years old now at 70p. Will be the cup goalkeeper, the backup goalkeeper as well. If you are buying Areola, it might be worth spending 70p on Fabianski just in case of a drop in form or potential injury to Areola. And last but not least, we have Wolves, and Jose Sorare is their starting goalkeeper for next season, according to 2 managers, at 90%. So first of all, Charlie for Charlie, I said 90% chance staying and starting Jose Sorare. Might have an offer from Saudi Arabia this transfer window, but a couple of years left on his contract, well, I think he'll stay for another year. JH_SoRare, slightly less optimistic. He thinks Sorare will stay, but at 70% chance. Again, links, rumours to Saudi Arabia, but nothing concrete. So as of right now, he'll be starting goalkeeper next season in Jose Sorare. So, yeah, about 90% chance of staying. Slight risk for Saudi Arabia rumours. About £12–13 for his limited card at the moment in time. But I think pretty much locked in for next season for Wolves, all being well. So, again, pretty much safe starter there. And thanks for Charlie for Charlie and JH_Sorare for their input on that one. And there we have it, guys. The fans have spoken about their Premier League goalkeeper situation for the upcoming season. If you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget part 1 as well, the undervalued Premier League players and breakout players for this up and coming season. But as always, I'll catch you on the next video.